Testing.
Silly
Testing.
churl, Billy churl,
Oh, there's something going on my screen too. Well, hopefully people arrive here quickly. And yeah, great. Here I am. Oh, someone's here. I'll see your message in a second. Do.
Wanna come over for tea?
Okay, just one quick moment here, just loading up my pages here, and there's an update. One second. All right. Cool. Okay, Jason, and we got White Despair. I'm alright, White. Just busy. I'm almost done with one of my projects. Like, it's just, you know, provisions now, and I'm almost done, and I'll get it. I'll be free again for a while. Digimon card game is pretty fun. I think that's Skelly talking. Let's see. So I was reading White's comment. Digimon card game is fun. Skelly, how long does like a game of Digimon even last? Watching a spoiler video right now, even if the chapter doesn't resonate with you, I think that you meant you. I do absolutely love the Ida moment, and I'm not even an Ida fan. Oh yeah, no, like I really love the Ida moment. I tried not to talk. Well, this time around, I tried not to talk about it too much. Other just give my opinions here. But I try to keep my opinions for the main video on Sunday, so I don't have to repeat myself too much. But I do love the Ida moment. I think Ida got a really good time. For the spoilers, I guess what I'm more looking at is just the structure of things. But fair enough. Players only have 6 health. Dang, Trip. I was trying to watch your review of the chapter. Not really a review, just a walkthrough real quick with just like the... It's just weird. I don't want to, again, repeat myself too much on the spoiler video and then the chapter proper. But I guess it's just to point out the spots that are actually the weird ones. Oh, yo, Jason, they're gonna do it bad, man. They're gonna do it bad. But yeah, when it comes to the chapter, I can talk to you guys here about it right now because I'll be a lot more in depth here. And of course, I want to know what you guys think about the spoilers as well. Overall, I'm really happy for Ida. I think Ida really deserves it. You're gonna hear me say it if you watch the video on Sunday. I think Ida deserves the moment. I think the author knew what he was doing with Ida. I love how Ochako is being utilized in this particular situation. I love that Ochako is not getting a big moment because that just says that her big moment will be later. And I'm talking about the moment that the author talked about. So that makes me really happy in that sense. And Ida deserves it because Ida's put in the work for Izuku this entire time. And it's a wonderfully beautiful panel of Ida and all that kind of stuff. But of course, I don't care about the good things. I only care about the bad things because the bad things is where the interesting conversations lie. I'm not sure how I feel about Kirishima. Like, from my perspective, when I see the author writing Kirishima to say, I know that I'm not the best for this, and then saying that I want to say something to him too, when I see that, I read that as the author giving up at this point in time. But like him actually having Kirishima say it out loud, it's the same strategy that he utilized to justify Koda being there, to justify Kaminari being there. He's going in the self-awareness route, and that's what really makes me a little bit sad about it. I don't respect it. I think it's a crappy move. I think this is the problems of Hero Academia all over again. I don't care if Kirishima says that his quirk doesn't work. I sincerely don't care. Because at this point, this isn't about what make sense anymore, because none of this makes sense when you look at it actually in terms of what we're doing here, why we're in this situation,
Silly
why is All for One so
Gerald.
stupid, why are the kids so stupid with who they're not using and who they're using. It doesn't make sense. This thing is here entirely about a message. And again, you know, stipulation. If next week fixes it, it fixes it. And then this complaint doesn't make sense because the author will have known what he is doing. But right now, the message matters more than logistics. And the message was supposed to be everyone in Class 1A gets to have an opportunity to say something to Izuku. There was not supposed to be, well, you know, it's also like very bad to be saying it's not supposed to be this particular way. So let's also just acknowledge that I'm being extremely critical here and I'm being extremely anal. But from thematics, I don't respect this if it stays at this current level. This is pretty lame. I don't care about the logistics saying why Kirishima can't be there. Shoji got helped by Momo wearing insulation pads. The man has Momo there. He can come up with anything he wants. He's the author. This was the time for him to step up, and what I see here is that people like Kirishima and Koda were going to be a challenge. This was the time for him to step up and take on the challenge of making sure every character got the bare minimum. That's how this should have gone down. That's what he was premising was going to happen. So I just see this ultimately as a compromise. And again, I'm being really aggressive on this one because it's actually a really cool talking point. But next week it might be corrected, and then this is just a whole lot of trash to be talking about. But yeah, no. At this point in time, no real respect towards Kirishima and them. I think this could have been done better. He's the author. It was time for him to go his own little plus ultra moment. He didn't do it, at least for now. Like, Kirishima and them run off, so maybe they'll come back. But I think that's the biggest sticking point for me. Mind you, again, being really anal about it, but that's only because like it's a really good talking point, and I'm more interested in the talking point than I am long-term ramifications. And if you guys want, we can talk about how this is indicative of the biggest problem in Hero Academia, because this is just more of the same when it comes to Horikoshi. Now let me see here. Unless they play life gain. I'm doing good. I wonder how bad Bones gonna ship. Okay, I guess people are now shipping Izuku and Ida. Oh, common. That's been a ship for a while. Like it's old. It's a really old ship. It's been a while since it's had resurgence. My day's been busy. It's also really hot, and we're being destroyed by the wildfires right now. Like, the wildfire smoke is really getting here. So I've been sick all day. I've been snotty. Maybe that's making me a little bit crankier for Hero Academia, actually, because today's just been miserable. I'm having the worst time of my life. At least the little birds are safe. The little birds can't take that much smoke, so it's been also a little bit stressful making sure that we don't open up the house too much for the smoke to come in. It's just been so much, man. But yeah, hopefully rain comes soon and the smoke stops. Though me and the other guy were pretty new to the game. Oh, okay. I really need to see the official translation for Kirishima because the possibility that something is being built up with him. Not necessarily something for this particular interaction, but perhaps a moment later on. Just seems really interesting that we seem to be calling back on one of Kirishima's earliest moments in the series. Oh, you mean with the slope? You mean like with the slope going up? I mean, like, the way he takes off his mask, I am interested too, right? Like, I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that we still get more of him, right? Because I'd rather have a bad criticism than I would actually feel justified in it. Do you think this Ida moment will be the emotional high point of the fight? Well, Jason, last week they said that this chapter was going to be the climax. So, again, if we are believing the editorial comment from last chapter, saying that this was the climax, then yes, this is the emotional high here. And if you want to look at it, like, Bakugo and Uraraka saying that they have things they still want to say to Izuku, like, that's in line with Kirishima and them. If we're looking at it, we could be saying, like, well, wouldn't it be tragic if they don't get to say anything because something happens that interrupts it? So, because it's just like, to make Bakugo and Uraraka still have things to say to Izuku, you still need a situation to kind of match the intensity of the emotion. So that's one of the things that says that we might get something else later on. But maybe for this one, I think I'll err on the side of believing the editorial staff for now and say that this is the climax for this segment. I do think between Kirishima, Bakugo, and Uraraka, and Aoyama as well, having things they want to say to Izuku, that maybe we get a follow-up later on. Maybe not next week, but maybe a few weeks later on. Yeah. And Flesh and Blood is actually really fun. Also, the company that makes it is in New Zealand, so I gotta rep them. Oh, okay. Maybe when we get the full power Izuku versus Class A, it would be their exam. Instead of fighting a teacher, they fight Deku. That'd be funny. Notice what Ida said. Izuku influenced so much, and probably all Class A. They would all be heroes that would have rescued Shigi when he was a kid on the street. I hope so. I like, they're good people, and I think so as well, man. I would agree with that. I think they're all wonderful people. Deku this arc is not being selfless. He's being a dumbass. Yeah, Common, but like with this recent chapter, it's pretty clear he's 100% in tunnel vision, and it's a fear-induced tunnel vision. The kid can't think clearly because he's sleep deprived, and also his fear of All for One is clouding his judgment. That is the only way to challenge them. At this point, teachers are now not a big enough test for them. Oh, hey, Joshua. It's been a while. How are you doing, Joshua? Class A should just get Inko to say go back to UA. Izuku can't argue with his mom, and if he does, man, that should be a crime. Yeah, I know, right? Who else watched Transformer Kingdom? Oh, I haven't watched that. What happened? Did the fight end or get interrupted? Oh, hey, True Star. No, it's still going. The chapter was certainly... The last Deku panel was throwing me off a lot, though. The one with him falling? That one throws me off, too. Hey, Edens. Too many characters for the theme he wants to go for. Nah, I mean, like, that is a legitimate thing, but legitimately tough. But at the same time, it's like, put in the effort to get them. Just, you only have to go all out for maybe 3 chapters to make this all work. Look, and the thing is, like, some people are being reused over and over and over. Like, Koda was reused for the slide, and it's just like, you didn't have to use Koda. You could have used anyone else. Heck, even doing like, you can shove Hagakure in the previous chapter and just have her flash Izuku, and then have Jiro come in to stun him with the sound wall, and then do the Tokoyami stuff. Like, you can fit these characters in there if you really wanted to. But again, let's cross our fingers and hope that there's a follow-up to them. I'm referring to the bus ride to the USJ. Kirishima remarked that everyone's quirks are cool and flashy and allowed him to do many things, while his own is just simple and not very useful. Oh, that's unfortunate. To which Izuku said that he believed that Kirishima's quirk was pretty impressive, and that he's sure that there's plenty he can do with it. I just found it interesting that Kirishima apparently used the word flashy in the chapter. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I hope he hasn't forgotten that then. With Kirishima. Thanks, White Despair. I wouldn't have remembered that. That's pretty cool, White Despair. That is legitimately cool. I'm fingers crossed. Fingers crossed to see if something comes out of that. Maybe we have a villain attack right when this fight is happening. Maybe like when everything is settling, we get a villain swoop in, and then Kirishima comes in using Unbreakable, and he's able to block the attack or something like that. I mean, we'd have to assume that Izuku's getting targeted or something like that. But that would be pretty cool. I mean, if I was All for One, you know how I would do it. I would 100% attack these kids when Izuku is emotionally exhausted. I would 100% swoop in there and like snipe someone's head off. And then remind Izuku why it is that he fears me. Or like he fears All for One, and I'm All for One in that case. That's why I said me. Anyway, Tai said, what is your favorite anime of the season so far? Joshua, Realist, and maybe Ida 10 Deities. Maybe those two. Yeah, probably those two, Josh. What are your favorites, Josh? Tai said, oh wait, did I agree? Random trainer? I hope so. Horikoshi kind of ignored what Kirishima needed to improve on. What he said in the Class A versus B arc, he was told to use his quirk when he could, getting close, which he could have helped with. There's always a falling action after a climax. Yes. Oh, hey, Going Rogue. Hey, Ray. So will Izuku trick Ida to let go and manage to get away next week? I mean, we'll find out. Just found it interesting, according to the spoilers, Kirishima specifically complains about not having a flashy quirk. There are many ways he could have complained about not being able to You seen the Volume 31 cover? Yes, I've seen the cover. To be fair, Redwire is one of the people who could tank full power blows from Izuku. I sure hope so. So far, remake Our Life is good, and the Detective is Already Dead. Oh yeah, Detective is Already Dead is going to be a good one. But he went with that one, Flashy. Oh, I see. So you're really fixated on the Flashy. But I mean, like, Flashy has been part of the Hero Academia lexicon for a very long time. Like, we know these guys are really stuck on the idea of flashy quirks. I mean, like, in this case, flashy isn't the same as useful. I mean, I don't really care if a quirk's not flashy. I just want it to be helpful. So I get it. I get it.
Absorption test. Stand clear. Come on.
The detail Edith's cracking due to sheer speed was really neat. Yeah, it was super neat, man. I was looking at that and it's like, yeah, man, nice. I am kind of concerned that it can't handle speed, though. Like, kind of just... It made me question it a little bit, but at the same time, that suit's been taking so much damage. That suit survived 2 Noble coming in on him, right? So I honestly don't mind. And it really did accentuate how fast he was going. So for the artistry of it and what it represented, I'm ultimately pretty happy with how it came out. I mean, a lot of the shots were really good, though. In general, like a lot of the shots, I think the author did a good job on them. Come on, guys, just die. Fall off. Okay, great, he's done. And the holding the hand panel, I really like the holding the hand panel. That was cute. I hope they keep it that Ito is saying Ingenium runs to help any lost child. Because I think at this point, especially, Izuku is very much like a child, and I would like to keep that rhetoric in the chapter. I'm glad that was Best Jeanist car and not All Might. I'm hoping All Might's still in the area, though. What do you think about the look back one shot by Fujimoto? This is one near, so that is Death Ray. I thought, oh yeah, you must not have been here last week, man. I talked about it, but I thought it was I enjoyed it. I kind of wish it didn't go so sad, and I kind of wish it didn't go into like a what if timeline or like a parallel time. No, it wasn't a what if. It was a parallel timeline. Kind of wish it didn't go out in that direction either, just because. Yeah, just yeah. I would have liked a straight story, but overall, it was really cute. I agree, Trip. Flashy isn't the same as useful, which is precisely where I find it so interesting that he apparently went with flashy instead of useful. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it. Because of that. You know, if I was going to be serious and look at it from the perspective of everything means something in terms of rhetoric, it's like he's calling back to early Hero Academia logic when he knows that flashiness isn't worthwhile. Like this is post Rappa fight Kirishima, so he really shouldn't be talking about flashiness because he knows what his quirk is good for. He knows what his quirk did for that fight when he had to deal with Rappa. He knows what he did in that whole operation. So he should have a little bit more confidence. And that's why I get what you're saying. And like you heard my thought process. I've come around. I'm hoping that there's going to be something else that happens and Kirishima can get his moment along with the other 2 who still haven't gotten it. But man, if Horikoshi poops the bed on this one and screws over Kirishima, I'm not going to be happy, man. Not going to be happy. And I know Tai's already not happy that Kirishima's getting screwed over by not getting something right now. But man, if he really just leaves Kirishima high and dry, I'm going to be very sad. Like, at this point, I just don't want Kirishima to be like... Is it fair to say like Crust? I don't want him to be like Crust in that Crust barely does anything, then he dies. But I think the better example is Ryukyu. I don't want Kirishima to be like Ryukyu, the kind of person that we don't really find out all that much about, that's just there and does stuff, but you don't really know much about her character. I don't want Kirishima to be disregarded like her in the case that everyone else gets shots to show what they're doing and there's no Ryukyu in the background. I just don't want Ryukyu to be forgotten. I don't want Kirishima to be forgotten. I just want fair treatment for all the characters. That's all I've ever wanted. That's where all my complaints are centered on when it comes to Hero Academia. I just want fair treatment when the author makes it look like they're about to get fair treatment. Is it true that anime skipped an arc for season 5? Josh, it right now looks like it shuffled it around, not necessarily skipped. It's just it adapted it differently. So we're still waiting to see if they're gonna reintroduce the arc at the end. Could have easily used Kirishima as a human bullet with Ochako and Bakugo. If Kirishima grabbed Izuku, then hardened to Unbreakable, he would hold him for a moment for the other students to knock him out. I agree. Like, when you have Kirishima shooting Mineta and Tsuyu into the... Sorry. When you have Tsuyu shooting Mineta into the sky, you could have had Kirishima there with him. And then you could have had Mineta stick a ball on Kirishima and then Kirishima stick it on Izuku. Like, there's a lot of creative ways that you could have actually made these characters useful. And if you look at what Horikoshi did with Mineta, that was disgusting. You have Mineta, the only person who can't be stuck by his own balls. You had Mineta be the one to go after Izuku, and it's like, what did you think Mineta was going to do? Mineta could do nothing. That was the stupidest thing to ever do. In what world do you think it's a good idea to send Mineta there without something else to fix Izuku on? It's just insane. At that point, Tsuyu should have gone up there as well. Heck, there should have been someone else to support Mineta. Mineta doesn't work by himself. Someone else should have been supporting Mineta. If Mineta doesn't have the floor to support him, and he's in the sky is probably the worst place to ever put Mineta in, because there's no point to fix his balls to. Yeah, no, man. Insane. Insane. Pure insanity. That's where you know the author just has to kind of really hammer some people's brains in to make sure that he doesn't break the story. But nah, man. Nah. Absolutely ridiculous. What? Just the worst. But yeah, nah, like, there's plenty of ways you could have made it work. I think we can all agree that in this moment, Ida is fully worthy of inheriting his brother's name. I agree. He even brought up his brother's philosophy of grabbing the hand of a lost child. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Okay, L. Izuku vs Venti. Before he got his gnosis, who will win? Izuku. It's not even a question. Izuku. Izuku wins. The power skills, I just don't know about the power skills in the power skills in Genshin don't seem that, you know, they don't seem that great for me. I've been watching someone who started reacting to My Hero Academia recently, and when All Might told Izuku about the other jobs he could do besides a hero, they agreed. One of the comments said something I really liked. Yeah, but firefighters can conjure water from their bodies, and the doctors have actual magic. In a world where even the mundane everyman has some kind of supernatural ability, if you have no quirk, you are less desired for any position where that makes a difference. Yeah, but we know that there's plenty of people whose quirks don't fit for their jobs. It's not like, we actually don't have that many examples of actual public servants having quirks that help out. So having no quirks still isn't that big of a deal. It wouldn't be that big of a deal. And again, like, the only firefighter that we see in the series who's actually using his quirk is a licensed hero. Like, really think about that for a second. No, I don't think that point works out, especially because we don't know how many water conjurers there are in Hero Academia. That's like, that point is bogus. This isn't the Black Clover world. People here are born with lame quirks. Like, if you, again, you can look at this in the wider scale. Look at Izuku's class. A lot of those people have useless quirks. Those quirks don't help in any particular sense, man. I don't think it's a good comment. I don't think that's a good... I don't think it's a fair observation. And healing quirks are flat out rare. We know that they are rare. We know that healing quirks are super rare. So the doctor comments also busted out of the water. Yeah, no, this is a world where even the mundane everyman has nothing worthwhile to contribute to his job. In my opinion, they switched My Villain Academia and never because of the movie. I really hope that's not the reason, Sarge. I really don't think that's the reason. I think that would be a really dumb reason if they did that. It's just there's no real reason for that when you have the second movie taking place so far ahead. It just doesn't, like, yeah. Nah. I still don't think that's the reason. I was okay with Kirishima moment purely because it established that he still has a freaking character arc to complete. Jazz, but like that doesn't matter, man. We know Shoji has a character arc to complete. We know that he's getting a character arc. We know that these characters are getting character arcs. Whether or not you're in the middle of a character arc doesn't matter for this particular situation, given that it doesn't matter for another person like Shoji. And again, if Kirishima gets his stuff, if he gets a follow-up to this, again, totally fine. I'm happy with it, along with Aoyama and Hagakure. I'm really happy with it, but ultimately, whether or not you have a character arc is irrelevant for this particular situation. I also think this chapter raises a potential death threat for Ida for the future of the series if he kills off a student. Ida's my main pick. I really hope not. I glossed over that when I first watched it here, but I'm only really now understanding it. That's the point about the quirks. Honestly, to me, I feel like Hori writes as if the manga could close at any moment and just rushes to the next arc. Ray, that's a criticism that I've been seeing coming up more and more often, personally. Maybe, who knows? I mean, I would love to know what exactly Horikoshi was thinking week to week, because I'm sure there's bigger conversations. I'm sure there's an issue of also him wanting to get things done on a certain timeline, and I do think that the timeline is probably the thing that rushes a lot of the things that we get, just because Hero Academia is in a really brisk pace right now. Going off at Sushi spoilers, it's pretty much Kirishima looking at the reader and saying, I still have a character arc to complete later. I like the reminder of that fact. Yeah, you know, yeah, Jazz. I'm a little bit behind Jazz, so you might already have written a response. But for me, yeah, I don't really care. I don't need, me personally, I don't need that reminder because the author is already the kind of guy that tells us people has character arcs outside of the manga. So I really don't care. And you know, at the end of the day, is he actually going to be able to do it? For Kirishima, for sure. Thing is, like, for me, I see Kirishima and I see Higantomakia still being a thing, and I think of it of, yeah, Kirishima's going to get more stuff going on, because Higantomakia is still pretty much a quantity in Hero Academia. That's how I see it personally. So, again, personally, I don't need that kind of reminder. Like, right now, for the Kirishima thing, the thing that's interesting me more is what White Despair brought up, that being the specific wording that Kirishima is saying, because that's a callback to something else. I find that more interesting, other than just the idea that he still has some stuff he wants to do with Kirishima, which is the thought that I'm one of the people that thinks that Higantomakia, even though now it looks really impossible, Higantomakia might have a connection in general to Crimson Riot. I still think that might be the case, but in general, I didn't need the reminder that Kirishima still has things for him in the future. I don't need that reminder. I just want Kirishima to get... I just want to get... By the end of Hero Academia, I just want to make sure that Kirishima got his due screen time. In the same way I want Hagakure and Aoyama to get their due screen time. That's all it is. I just want Kirishima to be treated fairly. And I think you do too, Jazz. So at the end of the day, if we're at the point where Kirishima gets properly done justice, I think we're all going to be happy. I wonder how Izuku will escape Ida's death grip. No one escaped Ida's death grip. Rocklock has more backstory than Ryukyu. You completed the whole China place. You can see what powerful people can do. So are you in a good place in Cuba? Is there uprising going on there? I'm not in Cuba, Josh. I'm in Canada. But my family, I don't know. I got to talk to my dad first before I develop any opinions about Cuba here. Just because it's a little bit complicated. My only opinion thus far is that I really hope the U.S. doesn't pick a fight with Cuba, because that's going to get a lot of people killed, and I'd rather not. And there's a lot of my family still in Cuba, so I'd rather not pick a fight and then have my family get caught up in the crossfire. Mushroom King literally run the best hospital in the series. They brought back the nail-ripping scene in Higurashi, but they censored it. Yet seeing someone get strangled and forcibly stuffed into a party is perfectly fine. Trip, it felt like Horikoshi went backwards on the Kirishima character development since the overhaul arc, Class B, and the war arc. It seems he went back to square one. Did he forget, Trip? back to square one. Well, I can see why you might think that with this thing that now White Despair is bringing up, but I don't know. I just think he slowed down. I think it's just a slowdown. You really think the power system of Genshin gods is weak? I mean, Zhongli threw mountain spears back in his heyday. Oh, right. Only in terms of what I've seen in gameplay. I just want to see more examples. Like, Zhongli had a lot of power back in the day, but I'm not seeing any other... And I know, like, Venti also was moving mountains. I just kind of wanted to see more of that in real time. I just can't... I can't do it well with just knowing stories. Like, the problem with basing things on legends is that you don't know if it's been exaggerated. So I actually really don't know the level of power that Venti actually has, because I don't know if there's conditions to it. I don't know if the legends are actually real when it comes to Venti. Mind you, for Zhongli, I really want to believe it. But again, I'd rather see it happen before I go into that conversation. I think My Hero Academia isn't as profitable for anime as the kids are. I mean, we'll have to see. Oh, hey, Tiandre. Pretty much... Ida got launched into the sky to grab Izuku. Oh, you pulled Seiros? Nice, John. Let's see. Deku could be a good cop because of how he observes everyone's quirks. He could be good in fine detail. Kirishima is a shield, not a pillow. One small detail I find interesting is that this time Todoroki made an actual ice ramp. Back during the Kamino incident, it was just he just made a giant spike of ice. It's actually a smooth ramp. Well, yeah, but that's because we know that Todoroki got better at making slides, because we saw that when he was doing it with the kids. Him and Bakugo during the provisional license stuff. It's cool to see it. Hey, Animamus. It's possible Izuku agrees to go back temporarily to protect UA since Shoto brought up a possible attack. I don't think Izuku is going to fully reject the class, but I think he'll only widen his tunnel vision. I think that would be a nice compromise, Viz. You're in Canada and you complain about being hot? No, man, Jason, like, the heat wave's been affecting Canada as well. And Canada, people don't know this, but every summer... Canada has horrific wildfires. Like a few years ago, my workplace, we had to host people from up north whose homes got destroyed by wildfires. Like, it's every year. Every year we have some of the most extreme wildfires that people have to dive into and try and put out. It's pretty normal. Trip, I don't think the US will pick a fight. The current leaders lack backbone, ambition, and the strength to intervene. I hope so. Val got stopped by a spear and a speedy boy. They aren't that crazy. Excellent. I would be fine if Kirishima didn't do something, but it actually leads to some actual character development. I'd be cool if this attempt failed and Kirishima feels bad for not being there. Ooh. I getcha, Jazz. I getcha. Like, you're saying, like, as long as there's follow through, you're saying if there's a follow through, you'll be happy. Yeah. No, I don't trust the author that much. I would like to see Kirishima get something equivalent to what Koda got at the very least. I just don't trust the author that much. Look, from my perspective, when I've said that the author has mistreated a character, a lot of times he continues to do it. Back with the Overhaul arc, the girls got shafted hardcore, and he has yet to fix the problems that he has brought in with Ryukyu and Nejire. Those characters are still significantly underserved. Kirishima's a different thing, because Kirishima actually has popularity behind him and people like him. But, yeah, I'm not giving the author any kind of good thoughts here. He is really bad at giving characters fair screen time, and we are now in a position where we're seeing the ramifications of that in real time with joint training. Again, joint training exists only because he was bad at giving characters fair screen time, right? So just from that on principle, that's why I too would like more character for Kirishima along with every other Class 1A kid. But at the same time, I want fairness for this particular situation. And again, doesn't have to happen right now. It can happen in 5 weeks. As long as there's some kind of follow-up and Kirishima does get to say something to Izuku, I'll be really happy. But again, if we're going to talk about like how the author has just produced a lot of asymmetry in the series, even in joint training, there were people who never got the reviews about what they did wrong during their fights. And that's not fair. The author just is not good at maintaining symmetry and maintaining equal representation. I don't want to use representation, but equal screen time bare minimums. He's just not good at it, and it leads to problems, and it's probably going to continue leading to problems in the future. When we get to the Hero Academia, the end of Hero Academia, there's 100% going to be people arguing about the fact that some characters got shafted at the end because the author is fundamentally not good at spreading out screen time when characters need to be treated more or less equally, or at least get the bare minimum. Like, we now live in the era where this criticism is getting, like, the fruits of that criticism are coming to bear. As to give an opinion, I wouldn't, if my family were there, it would happen, but I doubt it. Paranoia never hurt me. Now, Tiandre, look, from my perspective, I talked about this last time, but if Cuba gets attacked, it's stupid because Cuba is the military power of the Caribbean. Yeah, we can make fun of Cuba all we want, but Cuba has a pirating operation that we're pretty sure of. As Cubans, we're pretty sure there's pirates running out of Cuba. And we also know that Cuba has the means to be able to send armaments to North Korea. And we also know, like, just knowing my dad, from his words, so I hope my dad wasn't lying to me, but you can never really be too sure. My dad was trained by the Russians, and the equipment that he had access to, even, 50 years ago? It was pretty hardcore for an island in the Caribbean. So, Cuba in particular, if Cuba was to get attacked, it's pretty much saying that they might just go and they might hold the rest of the Caribbean hostage. Because, again, the U.S. is not used to fighting in such close proximity to an enemy nation. If you attack Cuba, the majority of the coastal U.S. is done. Because Cuba's missiles can reach coastal U.S. and they still have their missiles and they still have their rocket launchers. If they really want to, they can cause a lot of damage along the coast. And then attacking Cuba is akin to attacking the Russians. And who knows? Because of the North Korean, because of the fact that they got caught sending out weapons to North Korea, we don't really know if there's any North Koreans hiding out in Cuba right now. So probably not the best thing to do. It's just a risky proposition in general with how Cuba is still militarized. And again, like, I'm also coming at it from the perspective of my family. Like, a lot of them are still in the army, so I'd rather them not get caught in anything. And Cuba also, they send out their doctors to other countries. When COVID started, Cuba was sending out their doctors immediately. Those Cuban doctors being able to get into other countries like that, Cuba probably has a lot of clout that people aren't aware of. Because at the end of the day, when they send those doctors out, that's not just because they're being humanitarian. They're sending those doctors out because they're getting some kind of benefit when those doctors come back. As a military power, Cuba's the most dangerous in the Caribbean. And like Tiandre, like, worst case scenario, I don't know if Cuba can reach the Lesser Antilles, but I wouldn't be surprised if they threatened the Lesser Antilles too. For sure, Cuba can 100% threaten the Cayman Islands, which is where they have all the offshore banking. So the Cayman Islands will probably be done within moments if they ever try to bomb Cuba, unless Cuba is afraid of picking a fight with the United Kingdom. And then when it comes to Jamaica, I don't know about Jamaica's military force, but I don't think Jamaica's military force can actually handle it. If Cuba gets bombed, they might just think as well the Bahamas is just good enough to, like, wipe out a few sister islands on the Bahamas. Take them out. Yeah, no, man, it's just a risky proposition all around. It's just not something that you play around with when Cuba still has many allies that have not been disclosed. And again, being able to send armaments to North Korea and being caught, yeah, that's only one time that they got caught. They probably have done it multiple times. Anyway, that's my opinion on Cuba. But again, my information is based on, like, what my dad tells me and, like, what my family tells me. I still gotta talk to him to see what he's thinking about this current situation, because he's the only one that I know that's been in the army before, not counting my cousins that have gone through it now. Oh yeah, Jason, heat waves. Oil company and spoiled kids who get their money from dead parents to blame. Trip, the recent Kaguya-sama chapter is diving further into Ishigami Miko's past. A lot of readers upset with Miko's friend. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I like the Black Clover spoils too, Gohan. He raised struggles giving Shoto screen time of the three main characters. Talking about what Shoto said is exactly why I don't think All for One attack UA. It would just bring Izuku back to work with his friends to defend it. Seeing how he wants Izuku isolated, it just wouldn't make sense to me to make him return. Actually, that AN683 brought up a funny thought. What do you guys think? The fact that The fact that Shoto brings up what All for One could do, is that what says that it will never happen? Is All for One not going to do it because then it's going to be like Shoto was able to see this coming? Oh man, no, I think it's going to happen, but maybe not right now. Fair screen time is really disliked in stories. Nah, I like fair screen time. Like the class A deserves it. Just Pokemon stats getting free decent. Yeah, I saw that 40 new Pokemon as well. Nobody actually wants equally distributed screen time. They will always be favorites. Do people actually want Koda and Mineta to have the same screen time as Shoto? No, no. I don't want the same screen time. I want the bare minimum. That's all I want. Bare minimum. Like I just want Kirishima to have the same level of input that Koda had. That's why I kept saying bare minimum earlier. Bet Horikoshi would want Mineta to get more screen time. I think so too. Him not being balanced has resulted in more fan fictions. Fans, fine. I'll do it myself. Out of curiosity, Trip, do you think it's possible that Izuku showcases the second user's quirk in order to escape? Just wondering, since I've seen some people online saying that they think that'll happen. Oh yeah, yeah. White Despair. Early on, I was saying like, if this is a fight as hard as Nagant's fight, I do think second user's quirk comes out here. Mind you, I'm also the person that thinks that we still need to see Stain, so I think Stain could also come out here as well. So second user's quirk could come out if it's time to run away. And again, I think it's important to note that the Vestiges aren't sure of what Izuku is doing. And if Izuku turns his back on his friends, he'll be in a position now where all the Vestiges disagree with what Izuku is doing. Because pushing away his friends would put him in direct disagreement with what second user is doing. What second user wants. So, yeah, I do think second user's quirk could come out. Catching up with chat, Kirishima is interesting in the sense that his character development is something he has to keep working at, as opposed to something he immediately overcomes. Par for My Hero Academia characters. Did you know America has enough nukes to level the surface of the planet several times over? Yes, I know. I know America has enough nukes. Nuking Cuba is stupid though, because the Gulf Stream is going to take the radiation back to America. So you can't nuke Cuba. Like, it's actually probably one of the worst places to nuke. But then we have mutually assured destruction, right? That's the only reason we don't have nukes flying right now. Personally, I don't think Izuku will use the second user's quirk to escape. I just think it would be a little weird to have the rhetoric with the second user about having allies support Izuku, and then Izuku uses the quirk in order to avoid the assistance from those allies. Would just be a little awkward in my opinion. Not impossible, but in my opinion, not likely. Yeah, so White Despair. That's why I'm bringing up the thing about the other Vestiges disagreeing with Izuku. It would be appropriate only when you take into consideration that the Vestiges are not 100% on board with what Izuku is doing. So like right now, he's using those other quirks in spite of the protest of the other Vestiges. And I say protest lightly, but you get it. Like, you can tell the Vestiges aren't 100% in on this. So given that he's using them like that already, that's what it would do. Like, this rhetoric only works if you acknowledge that the second user would be put in opposition to Izuku's current decisions, like the others. I guess I could also just check to make sure I get the right wording for those other users. Let me just very quickly look. I think it was 319. Oh no, it's 318. Oh yeah, no. So I'm referring to 318, where the Vestiges are all following Izuku, and they're like, "Hey Izuku, your wounds are far from healed, and it's not yet time to throw caution to the wind," right? They're pretty much telling him like, "Izuku, slow down." So at that point, the one that was defending Izuku was second user, so that's what I think could happen. If you want to make Izuku use that quirk, you have to bring up the fact that second user is going to now be more in agreement with the other users in the idea that Izuku's going too far with what he's doing. Tiana said, though I doubt the rest of Korea would stand a chance. I don't think they'd take it sitting down. We very own way. Well, it all depends on how desperate the Cuban military gets, because the Cuban military is also very old, Tiandre. If the Cuban military thinks they're gonna die, they might just say screw it. And like Jason's bringing, America can literally nuke any country off the face of the planet. They just don't do it because of ethics. And it's like, well, I know mutually assured destruction. There's nothing stopping America from sending a nuke to another country, and then that country firing a nuke at America if they know they're gonna die. Like, the reason that we're in this current position is because of mutually assured destruction. I bet in the next few chapters they are told that UA is being attacked and they have to rush over there now that Shoto has said it. Oh man. Sorry, that'd be funny. Second user is probably an attack. Doubt it comes out here. I mean, I know it's an attack. I agree it's attack too. But you never know. I'm ready for it. It's hey, look, if the quirk doesn't come out here, it comes out during the All for One confrontation. And for just to keep the record straight, I do now agree with White Despair that this thing ends in All for One, having some kind of confrontation with Izuku. I do agree with White Despair on that thought. So it's either here or against All for One that it comes out. Personally, I'd rather it come out with All for One because I think that'd be more appropriate. But you never really know. I could come out here and just be consistent with what the author's done so far. If All for One did attack UA right after this, then it would be Nagant all over again. Just think back to Hawk's talk with Deku. They not only predicted that All for One would send someone after him, but they also predicted that specific person that All for One would send. Yeah, everyone fights Izuku while Baku will like the final boss or Bane to Izuku Batman. I'm worried about the whole hand-holding motif. The last times we saw this motif was Mina holding Midnight's hand and Nagant holding Deku's hand, and both of those were not good situations. Well, Jazz, to your credit, we do see that Izuku starts falling after he takes that hand. I mean, again, if I was All for One, I would come in there and I would murder someone, flat out. I would remind Izuku that, yes, you should be scared of me. Because if I'm All for One, I want Izuku to keep doing what he's doing because he's an idiot, and I want to keep just burning him out. And you know, if we're talking about just chipping away at Izuku's soul, killing someone right in front of his eyes, probably the best way to do that. I mean, personally, I'd hope it wasn't Ida. I'd rather it be Shoto, because I don't want to lose Ida, because Ida doesn't have that much screen time. But yeah, no, man. If I was All for One, 100% I take someone out right now, just to remind Izuku who's the big boss. So is it certain that the fight is over? I actually don't want it to be over yet. I still want to see the other characters interact with Izuku. Next week, this is a climax most likely. Next week is going to be Fallout. We'll have to see. Why are shippers angry at Ida? Oh, it's because like Baku Deku. Cuba's too close for nukes. Fallout will blow all over the US. I wonder how the Vestiges will try to stop Izuku mentally. I don't know if they will, man. Also, last page of the chapter have black borders. Were there other instances where My Hero Academia used black borders like this? Seems a bit ominous. Jazz, you're picking up on the same things I picked up on, man. Yeah, the black borders are ominous. I'm not sure. If anyone knows, let me know, because I think that's worth investigating. Black borders, like you guys know, when you have black borders, it usually means you're in a flashback. So the fact that it switched to black borders now is a little bit concerning, although I don't know if it switched to a black panel. So we have to keep an eye on that for the actual chapter release. But otherwise, black borders mean flashback. I don't know how it works here, though. Oh, you found a book like KJ Ida with like even more. Nice, nice, nice. Ida, Cockles, Izu Ocha, Baku Deku shippers. Definitely Baku Deku. Hey, Black Fox. Also probably means having to fight Russia and potentially China and North Korea. Well, no. Again, nuking Cuba screws up the entire Caribbean. You wouldn't do it because it also screws up the Cayman Islands, and the Cayman Islands has bank accounts for the big wigs in America. Like, you don't nuke Cuba because it's too close and the collateral damage is way too high. Like, if you nuke Cuba, 100% Florida is going to freak out, and that's going to cause whatever issue is going to happen in Florida. They released some trailers. Oh, and then New Orleans is going to get hit by the fallout as well. And New Orleans is going to have a whole episode about look how badly they treat minority communities, such that they're willing to get us caught in nuclear fallout with Cuba. Nah, it wouldn't happen. Nuking Cuba is just the payload is a little bit too dangerous. They released some trailers and behind the scene footage for the Injustice. Oh no, I haven't seen that. Ty. America do anything towards is war with France and England. White despair, yes. At long last, you and I united in our thoughts. Trip. Deku's hyper focused on All for One. Your next keep playing in his head. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, pretty much going rogue. Who does France still have? Is it Dominica that France still has control on? Because like England is 100% gonna step in, and like also, the Saudis are gonna step in on the Cayman Islands as well, because the Saudis have accounts in the Cayman Islands. Oh, Jason, yeah, the Shoto thing's a reference from like older days. I always like whenever someone asks me who's gonna die, I always go just for Shoto. Just make it Shoto. Mineta and Tillman sadly wouldn't be as effective as Ida and Ochako. He gets rid of Mina and the fandom would revolt. Handholding was used for Kirishima saving Bakugo. Now it is true, it was used for that. But nowadays, handholding's dangerous, is what he's saying to Scale. Yeah, I don't know, man. I honestly just want to see. Part of me wants Izuku to be happy, but another part of me just wants to see how stupid the author's willing to make Izuku look in this situation. Because if this guy goes all the way and has Izuku run away after all of this, man, that's gonna be hilarious. It's just gonna be like weeks and weeks of calling Izuku stupid, while also making multiple stipulations the entire time. That, oh, you know, this is really well written. Like, Izuku's hitting a level of stupidity that only Dobby could hit. Oh, I would love to go back to rag on Izuku for a while. Man, it's been so long since I've had good reason to rag on Izuku. Look, if the author starts bringing in, like, Dobby level writing on Izuku, I'm gonna be a happy camper. 100%. Minette, okay, got that. We also need to see what the other villains are up to while All for One is planning. I imagine Spinner getting killed for not following All for One. Also, those many Liberation members still at large. Yes, they're at large. Aren't Black Borders flashbacks? Yes. The fact that Ochako got caught off and both Kirishima and Bakugo say they have things they want to say later makes me feel there's a chance we might not see it here, but another occasion. I'm hoping for that AN683. I am hoping for that. But that, like, again, if that is the correct guess, that there is going to be something to actually get them saying stuff to Izuku, it means things have to get worse. Because, like, Bakugo and Ochako will probably be... Now, I have to also kind of agree with White Despair here on his general point of things being repetitive. If we're getting these follow-ups in another moment, it means that we're doing, again... a repeat of what we've got in here, and to some degree that might be a little stale if he has to repeat things. I think best case scenario is that he fits it in somehow next week, but if say 5 chapters pass and we're doing it 5 chapters later, well, I guess it'll be worth talking about whether or not this is stale or if he was able to reinvent it. If he'd want an effective death, it would be Suyu. Oh god. Handholding is so lewd. Oh, Gohan. I saw a fan art with Toya in a younger version and said, I'm not a hero, idiot. Nuke occupied Ukraine. Oh god, wild card. In the anime community, handholding is too lewd. Trip, do you think Danger Sense is going to interfere by activating and Izuku is going to reflexively try going for it just before he was going to finally give it to his class's will? I don't know. That's going to be finicky. I don't know, man. Also agree with Ty. There were some interesting character designs from the Liberation Army who we still need to see. That robot-looking dude and dude with the holes in his face. The guy with the holes in the face got taken out by Gang Orca. The one that you're talking about, his quirk allowed him to punch holes in the environment, and Gang Orca, like, throttled him in the background pretty hard. He might have been captured. There's a few of those designs that got captured, Black Fox. And I think the way the kids caught Deku was cool, but he's still in the control of the situation, so I wouldn't be surprised if he got away. I don't want to know anything about All for One's plan until it happens. That's fair. Dobby is not that stupid. Give that man some credit. He did make the Hero Society fall. I mean, I saw Gigantomachia. Dude, I think that was a team effort at best. Like, that was mostly All For One. Like, All For One carried that ridiculously. All For One releasing all those people into the world 100% carried that.
To ashes. Time to go.
Yeah, no, thinking about it, I don't think Dobby made Hero Society fall. He was like a nice little footnote to it. It's pretty much Unomu and raiding the things and releasing all the villains. That's what makes Hero Society fall. Heck, like after Dobby had brought out that stuff about Endeavor, there were still people like making fun of Dobby or whatever. Like the two teenagers in that one shot. It took a while. You needed to have everyone else like really beaten down. Like what made Hero Society fall was just how badly everyone was sucking and how rough the situation was. Nah, I'm not giving Dobby that much credit. If anything, Dobby's just really good at taking advantage of the situation. I mean, that's what Dobby's always been good at. Dobby's very good at using resources. He's just not good at the long game. That's always been true for Dobby. Ah, I love Dobby. Oh, such a wonderful guy. I think the same way. I do want Izuku to be happy, but yeah, Deku needs a big elf for him to realize he's on the wrong here. As much as I want the multi, Izuku hasn't learned his lesson yet. Actually, that's a good point. Like, when you look at the conversations, I think the one who had the most interesting thing, like, logically, was Shoto. But when you look at it, like, Izuku... What the author did was tricky. He didn't even have Izuku really engage with what Shoto was saying. He just had Izuku dive back into his tunnel vision and his fears. Like thematic or narratively, when you have a character diving into their emotions and not having them look at the logic, you're doing that because you know if they look at the logic, they're gonna stop being stupid. So it's interesting. Horikoshi at that moment showed his hand aggressively. He doesn't want Izuku to be thinking about this. He doesn't want Izuku to be thinking about this logically, and that's ultimately telling us where exactly he wants to take Izuku in this situation. So the problem here is that if we want Izuku to go back, they need to be able to break through that that fear that Izuku has right now. But I don't think anyone is really addressing that fear. I don't think anyone is really hitting Izuku where it really needs to go. And when they do bring up good points, Izuku shuts down and doesn't actually engage with the points. So for this kind of thing, you do need to shake him like really hardcore. A loss will make him will shake him hardcore if they can get to him in time. But it's a really interesting situation. Having Izuku go into a full-on panic attack with the "you're next" line when Shoto brings up good points, that's probably the biggest show of the cards that the author did. Yeah, Matt, I saw that. There are a lot of great character designs that Horikoshi made for Liberation Army. They looked important. I want them used eventually. Maybe when the international heroes show up. It'll probably be in the background. I'd be fine if they get separated by something beyond their control, so they aren't repeating the same scenario of them trying to catch Izuku. Like, they could catch up to Izuku in a chaotic situation. Yeah, I'd be pretty happy with that too, Jazz. Pretty happy with that. Odd if manga from Class 1B was Traitor. That'd be funny. That'd be funny in its own little way. Half of the villains were inspired by Stain. Dobby made this here not after he caused the defeat of over 100,000 villains. The defeat of twice and the other losers, the villains suffered a result of Hero's attack. Oh. I say that because when the Vestiges were trying to talk to Izuku down, he seemed to not only use Danger Sense as an excuse to ignore them, but he seemed to react reflexively since he was been out so long. Oh, well, yeah, but that's, like, I get what you're saying now. Yeah, Danger Sense was just something that he's been using for finding those villains, right? Sorry, I lost my thoughts there, Viz. But I think Izuku's been ignoring them the whole time. They can try talking to him, but they just ignore him. I think that scene, a lot of it was there to also say how Izuku or how Danger Sense was really facilitating this, because Hikage was the one with the lingering shot looking at Izuku. So I do feel Hikage feels a little bit responsible for this, just because it's his quirk facilitating absolute disaster mode Izuku. All for One's the reason Endeavor and Izuku would have been successful taking out Shigaraki. If they had won, no one would have cared about Dobby's video. Win fixes everything. Yeah, if it wasn't for that regen, man. If it wasn't for the regen, Shigaraki's dead. Good God, that regen. Tarnish said, we've seen with villains he has good responses now, but sad to not see that with the kids. Well, that's what it all requires, Tarnish. The author had to make Izuku stupid, otherwise this thing doesn't work. Like, that's why we're seeing what we're seeing. Worth appreciating that. Like, this is just... Yeah, like, when it comes to stories, when you need to justify characters doing stupid things, this is the most common tactic. It's to make them go emotional. If you make a person go emotional, what you do is that you invalidate the logic approach, and you also pick up any of the emotional readers, and you get the emotional readers to agree with you. And if the emotional readers start agreeing with you, then the emotional readers will defend the correctness of the emotions being the thing that made everything stupid. So, like, that's why if you look in your stories and you look at moments where your characters were really stupid, a lot of times there's emotional overlaps happening, because most people know, like, when people's emotions are running high, and as people, you all should know this as well. When emotions run high, people do stupid things. And especially with anime and manga, where you have a more emotional fan base, appeals to emotion or any kind of thing that shows this kind of anxiety that Izuku is showing, it's a really powerful storytelling device, because at that point you get to justify any insanity that you want to unleash in the story.
Time to go.
And because of the demographics of the fandom, a good chunk of them are going to be able to defend it. And of course, if you're the kind of person that prefers logic over everything else, it's going to really burn you up. And you're going to have to say, like, yes, I get it. Izuku is going through the worst time of his life here, but God, man, he is stupid. But yeah, pretty much when you want drama to happen, the things you do is you limit communication, and you make someone emotionally overwhelmed so that they can't think properly. Especially when you have a smart character like Izuku, you have to take away all his rational thinking faculties, because otherwise the plot won't work.
Let the show be.
Like, in that sense, I called it tricky earlier, but like, it's a good move. From a narrative perspective, it's a good move, because emotional overwhelming is a really good tactic for making a character stupid. Like, if we were talking about what would have been the bad implementation, if the author had Izuku being rational the entire time, that would have probably have been the really bad move, because like at that point you have to really, what it would have done if he had kept Izuku rational is that readers would have to question how bunked up in the head Izuku actually is, because at that point I don't think Izuku actually has many points to be able to argue on. He'd look very stupid. Or yeah, if you did this without the emotional baggage, you'd end up with probably a much sketchier product at the end. Like, this one is still consistent, or this one is defendable. Got to admit, Dobby destroyed the soul and support for the heroes. Knowing the #1 hero raised one of the worst villains brings shame to heroes, especially the family in Japanese society. Joker level planning. I mean, it ain't that bad. Like, All for One is still going strong. Oh, sorry, not All for One. Endeavor is still going strong. And likely, Endeavor is going to be the rallying call. Likely, when all this is sorted, Endeavor is going to come back 100%. Like, once we're out of this, like, really depressing arc, if we're ever out of it. I'm still going to see Stain as the one person to finally break it to Izuku. I really hope so. I like that Hawks mentioned the students aren't a burden. Is it Hawks that says that? I thought it was Endeavor that said it. Because Hawks was the one that was saying that, that like they should just let Best Jeanist handle the situation because he'll be faster. I thought it was Endeavor defending the students. Honestly, the only reason the villains weren't completely wiped out the raid was because Shigaraki managed to will himself back to life. Without that, the hospital raid is a success. And Gigantomachia doesn't move, so the mansion raid is also a success. I agree with White Despair. Though I will say, you know, again, very, like, remember, Gigantomachia was able to react to recordings of All For One's voice in the in his little radio. Like, was there anything ever actually stopping the Doctor from having a kill switch that lets him press a button and release a voice recording of All For One saying destroy everything Gigantomachia? Like, you know, given that Gigantomachia responds to recordings of All For One's voice, I do still think it was sketchy. Like, if the author wanted to, he could have brought in a voice recording, and Gigantomachia, with what we've seen in the series before, it would have been justified. But back to White Despair's point, very true. If it wasn't for Shigaraki coming back there, it would have been done. Personally, I do think we should have cut off Shigaraki's head the moment that he was on the floor, but maybe I'm a little bit too dark. I'm hoping that them reinforcing that the students aren't a burden me and still continue playing a big role. Overall, I'm optimistic for the role of the students in the stories. Oh, agreed. I am optimistic for their role in general as well, Jazz. Because, like, especially, I'm optimistic because we know that a bunch of them are still getting moments later. Like, Monoma and Shinso. So, Attack on Yue, pretty much. They are still going to be relevant. So, I know I'm late to this because I've been recovering. But, Trips, what did you think seeing the scene with Fuyumi animated? Yo, Black Fox, like in the video, I thought it was cute. It's the cutest thing in the world, man. Fuyumi's the cutest thing in the world. Adorable. Absolutely adorable, man. Absolutely adorable. Loved it. Oh, so cute. So cute. I really can't sing enough praises. It was just adorbs. Like, yeah, probably one of my highlights from the season. I'm pretty simple. I like seeing cute things. I'm pretty simple. I like pugs. I can't tell you guys enough how basic I am. Actually, I think is there quest stuff to do? Let's see. I'm enjoying the emotional aspect of Izuku's character. I like how serious he's taking the situation that doesn't bother me. That's why Izuku is so nice and connect to everyone. Anything can set him off. The doctor said it best. You had us beat. All your work and progress was building towards this day. But now we witness a miracle or something even greater. Plus, Ultra Shigaraki has awakened. That's all that your heroes built, he will now undo. Yeah. What is fair? Thanks, man. I'm 100% with you. Yeah. It's all Shigaraki. All Shigaraki. To be honest, Izuku's a character whose desire to save does lead him to making stupid choices. During Sports Festival against Shoto, he tried to save Shoto despite knowing he could lose, as well as All Might's expectations. Yeah, but you gotta admit, Jazz, like, there was different stakes at the point. Like, in terms of setting up a pattern, definitely good for setting up a pattern, but I feel in the grand scheme of things, it's just a competition. It doesn't matter if you lose if you're actually helping someone else. I think helping someone should be more important than a competition. So, you know, I find it a little bit different, but for pattern establishment, good point. Like what we're seeing here is now just flat out. We've always known what kind of person Izuku was, right? We've seen it from the moment Izuku dove in to save Bakugo. We've always known this was the problem. What we're seeing here now is the ramifications of having a person like Izuku doing these kind of things. Everything that we've seen about Izuku in the past is coming to a climax here, right? Self-sacrificial nature, bad self-esteem. Those two things are coming together now, and I guess fear. Although you don't have many moments of Izuku's fear, but self-sacrifice and bad self-esteem, those things are coming together now to just really make a really toxic concoction. And also, maybe All Might telling Izuku early on that One for All and All for One are a destined duo, forced to always do battle, right? All Might instilling that in Izuku might have been a really terrible thing. It would be interesting if he adds this blow up in All For One's face and actually has Izuku kill him. All For One didn't think Izuku wouldn't kill because heroes don't kill. Fuyumi, Izuku will be great because, well, Izuku will be flustered and Fuyumi trying to calm him down. Izuku will be a Todoroki. Oh, I can only dream. I would have cut his head off too. You see, that's why if I'm ever in Apocalypse, I'd employ you as one of my hand strip. Yeah, Tiandre, yeah, because, like, there's no point leaving people possibly alive. There's just, there's a certain finality to death that you really should chase after if you're in this kind of situation. You know, I'm all for kindness, but in my experience, the only people that can give mercy are the strong and the weak. Oh, sorry. Not the strong and the weak. The strong and the foolish. There we go. Sorry, guys. The only people giving mercy are the strong and the foolish. I was just thinking about Izuku being weak.
Absorption test.
Anyway, those are the only people that can give mercy when you're actually in like really bad situations. Yeah, that's why if we ever go apocalypse, like there's a certain degree of finality that has to be accepted. I hope. I don't know. I say that, but I don't want to have to do it. I hope we just continue to have a world at this level or better. I don't want things to get worse. I hope the news about next episode after the Never isn't about Aizawa past and the one about Bakugo parents. My Even Academia needs to come out already. Man, if we get Bakugo parents, I'm going to be very surprised. Like, I'm really hoping that that was just a joke on 4chan. Let me check at Sushi real quick though, because maybe at Sushi has information. Just gonna very quickly check. Do. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, Ty, at Sushi says that there's no summary or preview for My Hero Academia episode 107 in this week's Jump. So maybe 4chan was incorrect. Either that or they're hiding the fact that they're about to go hardcore and reveal Kurogiri's backstory. God, please no. Though with him crying with Ida, he might actually be able to get through to him. But then again, Izuku is still not listening. Last panel is stressing me out. I don't know what will happen anymore. Pugs look weird. Huskies are where it's at. Oh, yeah, no, Huskies are cool too, Ty. The heroes should have had a recording of All For One saying go to sleep. Have a hero standing next to him with a recording. Oh, that would have been good. But didn't All Might literally try to kill All For One by caving his face in? And even All Might was surprised he was still alive. I'd like to think All For One realized All Might was willing to kill him. I think he did too. If it's true, I'm done with the anime. I'll lose all hope. A random thought I had earlier today that made me laugh was that based on how the info we currently have, if All For One was to ever get really angry, then the Doctor would be able to take control of his body. If All For One was to ever get really angry, then the Doctor would be able to take control of his body. Huh. Why does Fuyumi remind me of Inko? I don't know, Going Rogue. Who do you think Merlin and Arthur kill from Seven Deadly Sins? Maybe Meliodas. Hey, Sar. I did pass a video that said something about society may not last past 2040. But then I got distracted. Oh, I wonder why. Is it Yellowstone? I hope I survive past 2040. Oh, gotcha, Black Fox. You don't need to be fancy cut off, is it? Just stomp on it. You're probably wearing heavy duty. Nice and simple. Anyone can do it. Thanks, Matt. Thanks. Thanks for a little bit of advice. Just to be clear, there's another chapter next week. Then we're on break. Not sure, Jazz. I didn't see anything about a break next week, but I don't know if shown. Oh, you know what? I can check. Wait, let me check the table of contents, because I can find out right now. So this week's Shonen Jump is issue 35. So that means we have so Shonen Jump is not on break next week. So that's good. We're going into next week, and then yeah, I don't think there's any breaks for Hero Academia this week from what I've seen. Oh, this week we have My Hero Academia Endeavor's Mission one shot. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's probably for the movie. Who's at the bottom of the table of contents this week? So this week at the bottom of table of contents, it's Candy Flurry. For anyone wondering, Candy Flurry is going to be canceled. This is its for 5th. Yeah, this is its 5th week on the bottom. So Candy Flurry, if there's any fans of it, it's dead. It's not going to survive. And then the others at the bottom are Ayakashi Triangle, which is a write-off, and then Yozakura, which is doesn't matter. So yeah, Candy Flurry is the next big series to die. After this, the one to be looking at is... Where's Grimm? What's Grimm's series called? Yeah, we'll have to see. Red Hood. Oh, there it is. Okay, Red Hood. It's Red Hood. Yeah, after this week, we'll probably know where Red Hood's going to be landing. Probably going to be at the bottom. So, overall, there should be another chapter next week, Jazz. How will Endeavor react to Izuku dating for Yumi? Will he go all protected dad? Truthfully, I don't see him having a problem. I don't think he'll have a problem either. Huskies and Pugs are chump change. The only dogs that matter are the King Corso, Pitbull, and Mongrel. Ah, yeah, Mongrels, man. Hey, Prower. So, Trip, what's your take on the characters in Inazuma so far? I haven't done enough of the story random. I haven't done enough, so I'm just kind of hanging out. I hope to do more of the story eventually. Oh, hello, Chris. How have your thoughts, feelings on this ship changed as time went on? If I don't know they've changed, I'm sad. I'm really sad, Chris. I really wanted more, but the author ain't giving it to me, so I'm really sad. I was really hoping for more, but right now it's Izuku Ochako. Like that's the best shot you got. My words cannot describe how utterly sad I am about it. You know, whenever something happens with Suyu and Izuku, I hope, I pray, but we don't get it. I see that my comment about the doctor had you stop and think about it. Yes, it did. I want to know. Explain that to me. I want, like, I couldn't puzzle it out. White Despair. So could you go through it from? Oh, hello. This is creepy. But yeah, White Despair, can you go through it for me? Why exactly you're thinking in that particular way? I don't see the mechanism by which the control happens. Oh wait, are you talking about Higantomakia? Oh no, you had Doctor taking over All for One. Yeah, no, White Despair, can you explain it to me, man? Oh wait, yo, Black Fox, is it actually like an action? Is it a full-on dumpster fire? Because I love dumpster fires. Gotta see how impressive it is that Izuku is still avoiding everybody in class while being exhausted. Well, what can you say, right? 7 quirks will do a lot for you. Please look at the Sky Kitsune statue over there. Alright. There's a word that can only be removed someone who has courage, values friendship, and who is favored by the might of Electro. Alright, yeah. That sounds cool. Let's break it. Oh. Who do I want to use? Ah, sure.
Just what will we come across this time?
Exless would have gone down in history as a legend. Instead of blasting the bullets, blast Shigaraki in the head. Where are you finding the table of contents? I want to see how the manga ranked up. Oh, cool, man. So this website, I've been using it for years. Whenever I get salty in the comments and I have to go look for evidence, I go in and I look for this website and I can dig. I dig. I take hours. I just go into it and, you know, all I sacrifice is my sleep. I go in and I look for all the information, all the data, all the trends. I've gone back 3 years of posts just to prove a point. I am very, very, this is something that was also when I was in school. I am very, very fixated on collecting data when it's numbers and stuff. Oh man, I will dive in. I don't care, man. If it means winning an argument, I will 100% dive into a lot of stupid data. Alright, Animamus, I gave it to you there. Considering that Kirishima, Ayama, Bakugo, and Huraka haven't said anything, I think that's definitely an indicator that something goes wrong where they need to speak with Izuku at a later moment. I would agree with that. Did you see the news about Bleach getting a Chibi did the video. Oh yeah, Ty. No, you guys told me about that yesterday. I was looking for the information on Anime News Network, but I couldn't find it on Anime News Network. Based on the current info we have about Teikon Shigaraki, which isn't a lot of info, when Shigaraki's hatred grows, it strengthens the vestige and control over Shigaraki. It would suck, as in be really sad, if a few characters just died, or never got the chance to say what they wanted to say. Yes, I would agree. It would suck. Trip, when I say this kid is getting away with murder and actually pulling off Chad moments where I'm like, how is he pulling it? I ended up reading the manga and mad that this is working. So going by that logic, if All For One's heart was ever to be filled with hatred, then the vestige of the Doctor in him, which he has since he has the original Life Force quirk, will be able to take control of All For One's body. Okay, I see what you're saying, White Despair. Oh, Ty, did I? Second to last comment. Oh, sorry, Ty. Find it strange we haven't seen Mirko yet in action since the other pro heroes are forced to work together. Though she doesn't like teams, she needs to in the war, and now since it's Mad Max in Japan. It might be that she's still rehabilitating. That's the only thing I can really come up with. She's rehabilitating, right? Because she lost a lot, right, for her body. So she might still be trying to figure out how to use her body. Rehabilitation. I think that's the safe thing to say, Ty. Thank you for pointing it out. Trip, the statue just wants Electro in general. You need to use the main character. Oh, sorry. I just like I like using the main character. But thank you, Viz. What would Suru say to Deku? She hasn't had any interactions with Izuku. Oh, Toru. Sorry, Toru. Say to Deku. She hasn't had any interactions with Izuku. Yeah, Koda didn't have any interactions either. Come up with something. She could just be like, hey, you're really cool, and I think you need to take a bath.
Take this!
Ooh, award. Ah, excellent. I am the destined one. Kubo owes me a confession moment for Ichigo Orihime because I gotta know how the heck this went down. Yo, Black Fox, obviously, Orihime went to Ichigo's room when he was sleeping, and then she stood over his body, and then he woke up because he was about to go to the bathroom, and then Orihime had, like, she was freaked out, so she had no other choice. She had to tell him, Kurosaki-kun, I love you. Because that's the only thing you can do when a guy wakes up and finds you staring at his face in the middle of the night. That's the only shot you have left. And you know what? Ichigo's a guy that's been through a lot, and he was just like, okay, great. I gotta go to the bathroom. I think that's probably how it went down. Christianity is funny how people say incest is wrong, but if it's to no one be God made Adam and Eve. If Adam and Eve had 2 sons, they get married to incest on my thing. Just need to make it a point. Gotcha. Gotcha, going rogue. And if we take the thought process, it's an inevitable conclusion. If All For One's heart was ever to be filled with hatred, then any of the people he currently has a quirk from will be able to take control of All For One's body. Good thing that All For One is emotionally stunted. Remember, Max of Mad Max always travels on his own. Tsuyuka's Deku Kaminari is right. You really need a bath. You taste bad. Ooh, God. I'm not buying that, Trip. Oh, come on, Black Fox. You know she would do it. You know she has a habit of going to this guy's room and staring at him and smelling his room while he's asleep. You know she does it. But I think Kubo answered this. They got together when they were in college. I think he answered this. I can actually look it up for you right now. Because you know me, I love Bleach. Jason and I, we're super awesome friends when it comes to Bleach. Sorry guys if you hear a beeping. Just let me see if I can find these translations. Let's see. At the end of Volume 1, stated that Ichigo respects William Shakespeare. Okay. Ah, here we go. When did Ichigo and Orihime start dating? Or from which point in time did Ichigo start to like Orihime romantically in the first place? I was elated to see that these two got married, so I wish to extend my gratitude for any details around this topic. Kubo says, with regard to these two, they were about to start a dating relationship when Ichigo was a university student. They formally started dating after they both became working adults. However, given that Bleach is not a romance manga, the romance is drawn purely as a supplementary component. That is why I won't go into too much detail about other characters too. Nevertheless, it makes me happy if I can catch the reader's attention through its portrayal. I hate this about authors. I don't care that your manga isn't a romance manga. Just tell me, dicks. Just tell me, give me an abridged version of the story. Just put in a random interview, man. Please, I want to know. I want to know these people are happy. Please, just give me nice little blurbs. God, I don't know. I respect manga authors for being so tight-lipped about these kind of things, but at the same time, it's like, I hate you people so much. Like, I'm dying here, dying. And the thing is, these people know that the shipping communities are just rampant. And they don't give you anything. And it's just, it makes me so frustrated. But yeah, first world problems. Then, this is the other thing I hate. I hate when authors say, oh yeah, I want you guys to have the opportunity to speculate. It's like, I don't want to speculate. Speculation brings out the worst parts of the fandom. No, just give me the full-on answers. But the question went on to say, do you hope that readers will form their own ideas through the spatial senses that was portrayed between the fellow characters? And Kubo's like, yeah, exactly. I think making speculations about that aspect is probably the fun part. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sad. She's going through a lot of stuff. I want to know Ichigo's actual reaction, because he has the second best shonen poker face when it comes to romance. Let's see. Orihime is creepy. Promise that if he listens to her and gives up, she'll date him. You watch Domestic Girlfriend? And no, I'm not watching that. Microdemon, what if? Back Camino, when All For One tells All Might that he hates him. Ragdoll just takes control. End of series. Oh, that'd be great. You heard Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney for putting the Black Widow movie on Disney Plus, saying that they lost a lot of money because of streaming. Oh yeah, no, I heard about that. I heard about that lawsuit. Seems kind of frivolous to me. And it just says, like, you really care about money, don't you? Yeah, I'm interested. I want to see where that goes. I don't think streaming... I think Disney got the money they wanted. I think Disney could 100% put her in her place and, like, really shut her down if they really want to do that. Oh, village infinite, and there is a bear within it that needs to be lifted. The bear is hidden. I'd like to entrust you with a little investigation and lifting the barrier. Oh my god, this is so interesting. Investigation? It may take some time and trouble. I'm sure that will reveal the truth in the end. I bet you're a ghost. Okay, of course. To those who seek shall just reward be given in proportion to their wisdom and work. Okay, that's what she used to say. So no, there's she? Who's she? I should be counting you for this investigation, Destined One. Oh, this is gonna be great. I can't wait. Let's see. Pretty sure Hinata snuck into Naruto's room and watched him asleep a bunch of times. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm impressed the students were able to keep up with pseudo 100% Deku. That was a cool combo move. 100%. That was a great combo move. More stuff like this would be nice, but with different combos. Also, Tokoyami is still useful. Yeah, Tokoyami, like, one of the MVPs for sure. Hence why harem genre authors do a better job at romance than any shonen author. Oh, you read the manga. Let's see. I can't see Hinata watching. Dude, romance isn't that hard to freaking write. No idea why shonen manga authors have no idea how to handle that stuff. Jazz, I think it's like, you know, Shonen Jump's a little bit of a cult, maybe? Like, because they have the handlers, right? They have the editors who always whisper in their ears, telling them just what's the right thing to do. and then they get like really weird complexes about their characters, and then they get told the line like, oh yeah, you know, we're a shonen manga, we don't care about feelings and emotions. And it's just like, man, come on, man, just sneak it in there, guy. It doesn't, look, the isekai authors are not the best authors in the world, all right? It doesn't stop them for trying. Just try. God, like, you know, it's incredible too, because Dragon Ball should have set the tone for this, that you don't have to care about the romance. Like, just make it happen, or just put characters together for no reason and let the fandom sort it out. Like, even Dragon Ball's approach is significantly more appreciated. Like, at least if they're doing nonsensical things, we can make fun of it, and we can be like, okay, yeah, this, who would have thought that Naruto would have ended up with Ino, right? If that ever went down that route. That's some kind of story. Like, that would be really fun. At least things would be super clear. It's ironic that Dragon Ball is the one place that I don't really care about shipping for, because it's like, I know everyone's married. Man, what a time. Yo, Krillin and Android 18, best thing in the world. I think that was handled so well in Dragon Ball. In the grand scheme of things for Shonen Jump manga, Android 18 and Krillin was just wonderful. Man. And then Vegeta and Bulma during Battle of Gods? Wow. They made it work. Made it work. I hate when authors do that as well. So much affection in harem genre stories. Adam had many sons and daughters, but at that point, they were only one generation from tree of life. Incest wasn't an issue until about Abraham's time. Let's see. I never chose a side because I never trusted the author of Domestic Girlfriend, and lo and behold, look what happened. Yeah, I'm happy. I got what I wanted. To be honest, the author dragged it out. The person he ended up with is who I want personally, but what I have a problem is how he got there. Agreed. Same vibe with Choji and Karui from Naruto. Some things need explanations. Kishimoto at least tried. Just with Sakura and Sasuke didn't end up together. How can anyone fall for Sakura? Oh, man. Oh, Going Rogue's out. Harem authors, great and shonen authors with romance. Love me some affection time. Yeah, they never wanted to resolve To Love Ru. Well, To Love Ru is a different case. To Love Ru got really screwed over because of court proceedings and a divorce. So, let's be careful with To Love Ru. There was a lot of things going on towards the end of To Love Ru that I don't think it's fair to bring it up anymore. It's too messy. From what I've read, too messy. Not. It's okay. They can take out To Love Ru. Shoot it out behind a barn. Blue Box looks pretty high in the table of contents for a romance in a shonen magazine. Yes. Let me just... let me give you the context here, Animamus. So, let me just check Blue Box to make sure. Blue Box. Ah, yeah. It must be doing really well. So, it's in chapter 14 and it's still high. It's doing really well. Worth pointing out that Blue Box is the only straight romance that we got. Is it a sports romance? But regardless, it's one of the few that we have, so it's probably going to have extra wings as well. They probably want to expand their audience a little bit. Hey Trip, how would Ochako's quirk evolve besides being able to handle more of mass being weightless? I always thought it would be revealed she could both increase and decrease gravity, but I doubt that now. No, I agree with you. It's pretty much increase gravity. Chaos is what you wanted, Trip. Yes. There's some isekais where there's only a single waifu, but that doesn't happen often. Take out To Love Ru like that dog from the movie. Dragon Ball Super show Goku is bad husband and father. Yes, Goku's a whole other thing. But you know what? I appreciated it. I actually like knowing that Goku doesn't know what kissing is. That makes me feel just... I wouldn't have had that had he not been married. Like, I wouldn't have known. The audacity... Like, look, the fact that you have Vegeta, like, just asking him, like, how do you not know? That's hilarious in of itself. And you can only get that because Dragon Ball was the bravest series we've ever seen. Harem authors don't want to hurt their characters, which is why many believe they drag their series too far long. Fair. Romantic stuff with side characters seem more common in shonen. Still hoping for Kaminari and Jiro to go somewhere. Yeah, Jazz. I think part of it's because like maybe those guys think like it's better to do it when when it's not a character that matters. It's a weird mentality. No, I don't think it's great. No worries, Gohan. I like what you're saying. Gohan then said that that's only when the harem itself is the main story. Most harems that Gohan follows, the harem is just part of the story. There's usually a main girl that the MC is trying to do throughout the story. So actually, I agree with Gohan on this one. There's a fundamental difference. Like within the harem genre, there's series that revolve around the idea of the harem, whereas there's series where the harem is a natural consequence of living in the world. When it comes to readers on the Western market, the vocal ones say they prefer a world where harem are allowed, but the harem is not the main focus. And Gohan would agree with me on this one because Gohan knows exactly what I'm talking about. There's a fundamental difference when you have a character with a plan who is allowed to have a harem versus a character with no plan who just kind of ends up with a harem, and everything's about the harem hijinks. Very fundamental, different dynamics. Usually with novels, you end up seeing more of, well, actually, no. It's actually a pretty nice even split when it comes to Japanese novels. But when it comes, if you want to write in the harem genre, or like on the Western side, you should be writing more towards fantasy worlds that a harem is allowed, as opposed to a story that revolves around the idea of having a harem. It's a very fundamental distinction, but with the current market in Amazon, what they're looking for is specifically an adventure with the harem elements. If they want romantic plots, then tell Horikoshi to do shipping plots. Honestly, like if he did things like he did with Jiro and Kaminari, I'd be really happy. Heck, I don't even need it in the main story. He has the novels. If he just put extra little shipping content in the novels, I'd be really happy. I mean, I get a lot of mileage just knowing that Izuku asked Pony to if he could go visit her in her room to see the All Might merchandise. That was just such a funny little thing. I appreciate more of that in the supplementary materials. Like honestly, I can respect that putting too much romance in a battle shonen might be a bad move. Maybe, I don't know. Yozakura family is doing it just fine. It might be a bad move, but simultaneously, I don't mind putting it in supplementary materials. I think this was probably one of Kishimoto's best moves. In his supplementary materials, like the novels that got adapted into the anime, he put a lot of, like, he put Ino and Sai's little story arc in there, and he put Shikamaru and Temari's little story arc in the novels. I think that was a great move. Probably one of the smartest moves that man came up with when it came to those novel adaptations. Sports romance, but not too much focus on the actual sports. Okay, gotcha. Wait, I think I missed a bunch of comments. Sports manga, there's at least 2 sports manga that need to be shown, especially with Haikyuu done. Like the manga I mentioned about the MC being married, the harem is just part of the story. His main goal is save the world. Still tripping that the MC in Isekai Oji-san was by one of his harem when he was knocked out. He still doesn't know. Will the manga cover that from the will the anime cover that from the manga? I hope so. Let's see. Wait, we also had romance in Yu Yu Hakusho. Yeah, but Yu Yu Hakusho is also another really old series between Yusuke and Keiko, and they were the freaking MC. It's not like there isn't historic stuff for it. No, I do think there's a difference. I think the historical series were more okay with this happening in real time. There's one harem I follow. The mother trained her son, thought of having a harem to get laid, but they were just motivate his butt to get stronger. Let's see. MC had a match against a guy who wants his crush phone number on the line. While they played, the focus was more on the characters talking on the sidelines. Oh, interesting. Oh, see ya, Tiandre. Izuku picking up girls with his All Might merch. Yeah, he left one of the biggest mysteries around Choji X's wife. Yu Yu Hakusho is great. It is great. It's 100% great. Well, I follow a harem that has many waifus, get the MC drunk to have his way with him. God, man. That's the worst. Am I look? Yo, no, there's I read the isekai the farming isekai, and in the farming isekai, this poor man he's just a random guy in the woods who slowly built up a little village. And every night he goes to shower or goes to the hot spring, and he never remembers how he gets back home, how he ends up in his bed the day after. And it's because like I think over 20 women take turns with him, and he just blacks out. He just doesn't know what happens between the time he leaves his hot springs and the time he goes to bed. He doesn't know. It's just a black period. And meanwhile, all the women are like just watching him as he goes back home, planning, making sure no one else comes in to get ahead of the line order. It's ridiculously excessive in that one series, but so funny. So funny, but so excessive. Poor guy. Holy crap, man. Let's see. Yeah, cool. Got me some secret mismade. Anyway, let's talk to the locals first. We can find out what the secret that the people of Konda Village are trying to hide. Oh, I'm so excited. What could it be? Actually, what time is it? I don't think there's enough time. Yeah, it's almost time to go away, so I'm gonna just stop it there. So he gets drugged every night after his bath? I don't think so, Animamus. I think the way that it was written, it's that he just kind of represses it. Because it's like, I think it's the exhaustion. Once he steps out, everyone just kind of swarms on him, and he never remembers what happens the day after. So I think it's just hardcore, he's repressing it. And honestly, really aggressive. Really aggressive in that one farming isekai. Like, super aggressive. It's like, that's the joke, though. He's being left a dry husk because all the women are having their way with him. It's, yeah, it's pretty aggressive. Again, very funny reading about it, because when you read about him just being like, yeah, I don't want to think about it, it's like, oh, poor kid. I think the reason that it happens too, in the story, I think he's given a healthy body by God because he died a frail kid. And I think the healthy body, I think part of the joke is that the healthy body is being beaten down by all the women coming, like, just laying into him every night. But yeah, no, man, like, just remembering the story there, the tactics were extreme. There were flat out times where when the girls have their side chapter, there's ninjas going around. They're all trying to make sure no one gets in his way. They all just keep any of the riffraff out. It's really crazy. Funny series. Funny series. What if Izuku's dad isn't overseas but has passed away, and Inko only told young Izuku that so he wouldn't worry about it? That's toxic. That's really toxic to not tell a kid his dad's dead. As a fellow supporter of the ship since season 1, I can feel sad as well. Chris, you're a supporter too? Oh man, Chris. Yeah, man. I support it, but I got nothing. I kind of wish Suyu got more things to say to Izuku in this most recent chapter that's coming out on Sunday, but she didn't, and I'm sad. Animamus, you're talking about the story Trip was mentioning. Yes, Gohan was asking. Yeah, Gohan. Animamus was asking about it. Jazz says, holy crap, just had a thought. What if they did that slingshot combo they did this chapter, but had Izuku on the end of it to deliver himself even faster for an attack? That would be OP. That would be so good. Oh, Mutter Utter. Sure. Give me a quick second, and I will get you guys the name of the story. Because I call it Farming Isekai, but it's, I think it's Farming in Another World. Ah, there it is, yeah. It's Farming in Another World. So, for those that don't know, it has really short chapters, and then it also has the light novel, or the web novel. I read the web novel, and that's where I found, like, that little bit of the story where this kid's being brutalized. Not brutalized, but he's taken advantage of. So... yeah, so at this point, I think maybe the manga got to that point. But just so you know what happens in general, that main character, he's the chief of a village, and people congregated around him. And by the time of the current manga chapters, he has a couple of kids already. I think I don't want to spoil who he gets together with, but they're monster girls, sort of. So that's pretty cool. And it early on, it's pretty wholesome. It's a pretty cute little story. Anyway, going back to Jazz. Yeah, no. like Izuku, high speed Izuku, going in there off that ramp, going straight to All For One's face, that would be great, man. Like, heck, man, I would actually believe Izuku would be able to take out Gigantomachia if he did that combo on him. Just a Izuku-sized bullet right through Gigantomachia's... Well, maybe he wouldn't break through Gigantomachia's head, but maybe right to Gigantomachia's temples. That'd be pretty funny. Let's see. I need to burn through my resin. Yeah, I think I'll just do a couple of domains and then call it. Oh, I could do Storm Terror. Nah. I'll just do a couple of domains. Philosophies of Freedom. What do I need from the domains? There we go. That's the one. That's the one we'll do. Ah, yes, random. You know that one. It's wonderful. It's a wondrous. It's all right. It's a nice time waster isekai. It brought me a lot of joy, so that's really all I could ever be happy about. Okay, so yeah, guys, I'm gonna just burn through resin. I'm calling it a night. Single wishes or multiple? Oh, I know how to answer that. Okay, Miguel. So, decide. Here's how this works. If you have 9 summons and you have gotten no 5, or if you've gotten no 4 stars in 9 summons, you are guaranteed to get a summon on. Oh, sorry, you're guaranteed to get a 4-star on the 10th summon, right? Or the 10th wish. Okay? So, here's how this works. Let's say you have your 9 wishes in, and you have. Yeah, let's say you're 9 wishes in and you haven't gotten a 4-star yet, right? If you go and you do a 10 pull, you're guaranteed to get 1 4-star for sure. But you're also going to waste however many other wishes. If you do a single pull, you can get your 4-star without having to do 9 extra wishes. So, honestly, it doesn't matter, Miguel, whether you do single pulls or multiples. The time that you do single pulls is specifically when you know you're like away from soft pity. If you know you're like within 5 away from soft pity and you don't want to go all the way for 10 pull, you just do the 5 single pulls. But if you don't care, you just do the 10 pull all the way. The numbers don't really change. So people typically only do single pulls when they're being very strategic with their primo gems. Otherwise, just do 10 pull all the way. The times that this is relevant, Miguel, is specifically like if you're targeting 2 banners. Like, let's say you want to do a character banner and maybe the weapon banner, but you don't. And let's say you have a total of like 12 wishes. You would probably go into one banner and you would just use up to 4 because you know you're going to get your 4-star, and then you'd use the rest of your wishes on the other banner and get a 10 pull from the other banner, that kind of thing. That's why they have the single wishes. That'll be the strategy there. So I gave you a lot of information there, Miguel, but ultimately, big thing is that it doesn't really matter. Your odds don't change. Just started reading a series that is a harem polygamy story. Long story short, world allows polygamy to specific people. MC ends up saving people from a plane crash. Gains the right to have... Oh! Multiple wives. His girlfriend doesn't like it, but he ends up being given the daughter from one of the people he saved, and another one is a girl he saves from an incident later. It's insane. Oh, what's it called? Hey, Magazine Kirby. I gotta head up. Stream was lots of fun. As always, can't wait for the official chapter so we can see exactly what Kirishima said. Did he specifically say flashy? I'm going to be looking out for that now too, man. So thanks for letting me know about that, because otherwise I wouldn't have noticed. I'm excited to see what's going to happen there.
My experiment will succeed.
I wonder if the future someone's going to use Kirishima like a weapon. Like he just hardens and someone starts using him like a club. I mean, I would. I think it's a sharp club, right? Like Kirishima's practically a sword. He could cut through a lot of people. Yeah, Miguel. Miguel, whenever you start pulling, I wish you all the best, man. I'm rooting for you, buddy. I hope you get someone good. Although I guess the Ayaka banner is going on right now, so that's pretty good. Yo, Sarge, if you're still there, is Ayaka pretty solid overall then? I asked Sarge because Sarge keeps up with this kind of stuff more than I do.
6308. Animal hypostasis emulation.
How come Isekai MC don't use aquaponics, hydroponic system for farming? Yo, man, but well, some Isekai MCs do use rice paddies, which I know is not the same thing. But hydroponics and aquaponics require a really controlled environment, which is a little bit harder to pull off than usual. Like, I used to have an aquaponics setup with my roommates, and we grew onions and all that kind of stuff, but it was pretty finicky. I don't know of examples of ancient aquaponics or hydroponics, so I can't really discuss it too well with you there. John. Can't really discuss it too well there with you. I just think it's too smart for the authors themselves, because usually it's only a one in a 1,000 author that actually knows how aquaponics works to be able to use it properly.
Ready, steady, go! Go, Barbara, go!
But no, Animamus, what if Kirishima took on the shape of a sword? But yeah, he's more of a mace. You're right. You're right.
Enhanced animal module. Time to go.
Nice. There she is. Wait, only got weapons? Oh, Prower. That sucks. On one of Horikoshi's sketches, I think he drew Bakugo using Kirishima as a hammer. Oh, that's hilarious. The series is called Mimpo. Oh, okay. I'm gonna copy and paste that one. Let's see. Yeah. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, Japan enacts a polygamous marriage system. Oh, that's probably to like start getting that's probably just get the birth rates going higher or something. All right, guys. I'm probably gonna call it there. Yeah, within a few minutes. I gotta say thank you all for being here. I was thinking I was gonna end it an hour earlier than I am, but this was a really fun conversation. You guys all rock. What did they introduce a new weapon type like Cestus? I don't know. I don't know if they will. Yeah, they go into oh wait, is that how that's chosen? Okay, they go into explanation that's either based on how much you make or if you have a certain title. The latter of which the MC got when he saved a bunch of people from the crash. Oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. Oh, Mark. Good night, Mark. And remember, Mark, take it easy. We can't have you burning out here before we find Kyle. Remember, Mark, the whole precinct's fate. We're all relying on you, Mark. Anyway, yeah, good night, Mark. And I'll say the good nights to everyone else as well. Good night to Black Fox, Miguel, AN683, Prower, Mega, I think all Black Fox, right? Yeah, Viz, White Despair's out as well. There's 20 other people. Matt, Random, Mutter Utter, all you guys, thanks so much for being here. You guys rock, you rule. I hope you all stay safe. Don't do anything stupid. Animamus, good night. And Animamus, it does look like Digimon Survive was delayed till 2022. Like, I saw Anime News Network reporting it as well. Oh, the thing people Kirishima curled into a ball, then use Unbreakable. Shoto builds ramp, Ochako makes weightless, and Bakugo fires. You have an unstoppable bullet, could take out Makia. Agreed. Kirishima thing reminds me of that one girl in Teen Titans that turned into Crystal. I think that caveman used her as a weapon. Oh, I remember that one. Random said they're dropping like 6 banners for Pokemon and giving us Hop for free. Nice. Ah, nice, Mark. Nice. I believe in you, Mark. But yeah, guys, thanks for being here. And gonna call it. Thank you, Prower. Ending the stream in 5, 4, 3. Oh, big comment. Rip Digimon also was reminded Bandai was also making a Digimon story game for PS4 on the side. Wait, they are? Nice. Gonna look into that. But yeah, guys, ending the stream in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Till next time, everybody. Stay safe.